Welcome to Changsha. We're going to be spending the next 4 days exploring the capital city of Hunan. Come along with us as we try the local food and see what this city has to offer.
Well, first stop here in Changsha is the Orange Island Scenic Area.
This area is probably most well known for the gigantic statue of Mao that is at the end of the island. So we're going to go out and check it out.
So in order to get into the scenic area, you have to scan a WeChat QR code.
Yeah, we had to import all of our passport information and make like a reservation, but we can make the reservation for like right now. I'm imagining on weekends or holidays when it's really busy, you probably have to make that reservation in advance. I think it's just for crowd control though, because it didn't look like we actually ended up paying anything. I didn't have to enter like our little code for paying in WeChat, so I think it just made us a reservation. We stood in line with everyone else and then found out that we couldn't get in that way. We had to go to a different line because we're foreigners, we have passports. We don't have those little Chinese ID cards, but it was fairly simple. Yeah. So we're gonna go check things out now. So we went up to a little kiosk and we bought tickets for 40 yuan each to ride the train straight to the Mao Head, I think, if Translate worked correctly.
Well, apparently we were successful buying our tickets because we were dropped off just before the Mao statue.
And as you can see, it is absolutely massive. It is pretty cool. I don't know that much about Chairman Mao. I know that he is like credited for starting the Cultural Revolution here in China. But I do have to say, this is one of the most impressive like statues I've seen in a while. It's very cool.
So here in Changsha, we've noticed that there's a lot more gas-powered vehicles than other cities we've visited in China.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it seems like due to that fact, the air quality is definitely struggling a bit. I think the population here is like 10 million, so there are a lot of cars and a lot of exhaust, and so, unfortunately, a lot of smog. By far, the most popular tea shop here in Changsha is this one behind us. Says it is Modern China Tea Shop, and it apparently originates here in Changsha. When we stayed in Zhangjiajie, there was a location that was next to our hotel, so we have tried it before and we do love it.
And by far the best drink was the orchid latte. We tried a bunch of them and that one was the best.
Yeah, I think we tried 6 different versions. I will say if you do get the green tea here, it is very floral. To us, it almost had a soapy note, so just be careful with that one. We're gonna go in and get a couple orchid lattes.
Just walked a little over a mile and a half to Tianxin Pavilion.
I don't really know anything about this spot. I just saw that it was listed as a 4A tourist attraction. And from our experience, the 5A and 4A tourist attractions that we visited have been totally worth it. Yeah. And this one didn't even have an admission. We just walked right in. So we're gonna check out and see what they got. Well, that was some false information. We did have to pay to get in. They just let you come up part of the park and come up part of the hill, and then there is a little gate.
And it was only 28 RMB to get in.
Yeah, and you do have to do the thing where you scan the code and you pay for the ticket online and everything.
Well, on the way out, we saw a sign that indicates that they have show times at night.
Yeah, I think this place would look absolutely gorgeous lit up at night. And then I looked at my phone and saw the pictures. It does. Also, the shopping street that we went down, I think that it would look so much better at night. So I think tomorrow we're going to focus our sightseeing efforts in the evening. Well, we stopped back by our hotel to freshen up and to drop off my purchases. As we were walking down the pedestrian shopping street, there was this cute little store and they sold just nothing but hand cream. And they had a wall and it said 365 days of flowers. And then you could pick out the one that had the scent for your birthday. So I have the December 7th hand cream right here. It was just too cute. They even like packaged it with a little bow. And now I think we're getting hungry.
And right next to our hotel is a mall that has a highly rated restaurant that serves Hunan specialty food.
Yep, so we're gonna head there now.
Our favorite thing we ordered was a salted egg yolk coated sweet corn. So we've been smelling this dish all over China, and I think it's time to try it.
Yeah, smelly tofu. It comes from, or is most popular here in Changsha, in this like black variety. I have to tell you, when you walk by stalls that sell it, it smells quite a bit like a horse barn. So I'm not particularly excited to try it, but it's very, very popular. And the most popular place to get it seems to be this store behind us. There are a bunch of different locations and they always seem to have a line. So let's see how it tastes. All right, we have our order here. It seems like most people were ordering these together as like a combo, so I did it. These smell sweet, and so I think they're the dessert. But this right here is the main event. You can see we have the black smelly tofu. They put some kind of like milky liquid in it. Then we've got cilantro and like a spicy looking pickle. So try a little bit of all this in here. Oh, here goes. It actually doesn't smell that bad. Like when you walk by the store, it really smells, but now that it's in front of me, I can't really smell it. So I think when they fry it, it takes the smell out a little bit. It's good. The strongest taste I get is the cilantro, and then the spiciness from the pickled vegetables. I don't really get the like funky smell when you taste it. It's good.
Well, I have to disagree with Georgia on that stinky tofu. I get that barnyard flavor, but then again, I really don't like durian either.
And I do like durian. So if you've had durian before and you get kind of past the smell and you like the creaminess and the taste and sweetness of durian, then you'll probably like the smelly tofu. I ate 5 of the 6 pieces. David only ate 1. He did not want another one. He was out. But now we're both going to try these, which I think are like fried rice balls, but they look sweet.
So it kind of reminds me of like a crispy on the outside mochi a little bit, and slightly sweet, and a little bit of sesame flavor.
Yeah, it's almost hollow on the inside though, so it's not dense like a mochi, but it does have that like glutinous rice texture. It's really good. So another thing that's really popular here in Changsha is basically spicy crayfish. And we found a place that's making dumplings that's stuffed with the crayfish tails, so you don't have to mess with the shells. So let's give these a try. They're a little bit spicy, and then the crayfish are a little bit sweet, and then the dumplings actually kind of like fried on the bottom, crispy, really tasty.
So the other thing that we were seeing so many stores for was this dried spicy duck.
Yeah, so one guy was like, try it. So we came into his store. We tried a few. Some were very spicy, but this one was a little bit spicy and sweet. We ended up getting a whole duck. They cut it up for us, and it was just 75 RMB. So I think that's a pretty good deal for an entire duck, and the taste was quite good.
So the first food street we went to was Taiping Old Street, and now we've walked a couple blocks to Posey Street. Remember that we said this tea shop is very popular here? Check this out. So we walked a little further to the Dufujiang Pavilion.
As you can see, it is lit up beautifully at night. I had read online that it was one of the best nighttime pictures you could take in Changsha, and it is quite impressive.
If you walk around back of the pavilion, you can get a great view of the light show on the many skyscrapers along the river. Today is our third day exploring Changsha, and our first stop is the Hunan Museum.
Now this museum is super popular, and so you need to get a ticket online first. I wish I could tell you it was an easy process, but it is not. Trip.com does have the WeChat QR code for their mini app. However, everything is in Mandarin, and a lot of it didn't translate very well. They even had you do a CAPTCHA where you had to match up Chinese characters. So just bring your patience for that one, but we were able to each get a ticket. The adult tickets were 50 yuan each, and that did include one of the special exhibition rooms. You can pick from 2 time slots, either from when they open to noon or from noon to 4. So we have our QR codes. We just had to present our passports per usual, and then they scan the QR code. So now we're in.
We started out on the second floor, which went over the history of the Hunan province. At one point, it was covered by oceans, and that is why it now has the Jingjiajie mountain landscape. It is also the reason why they have such fertile soil, and they're known as the granary of China. just finished up on the second floor, and my favorite part was the metalwork done on the bells. Very pretty.
Yeah, it was a very cool section of the museum, but I do have a question for any of our China viewers. Do you all know the years of the dynasties? I had to keep looking them up on my phone because when you're in a museum in the US or Mexico or Europe, it says oh, this was 200 AD, oh, this was 500 BC. These all said, oh, this was taken during the Jin dynasty, or this was taken during the Qing dynasty, or this happened during the Han dynasty. So I had to look up on my phone constantly what those years were.
Next, we headed to the third floor, where they showcased items found in Lady Dai's tomb, including clothing, carpeting, figurines, and jewelry. We just finished up on the first floor, and we got to see the mummy of Lady Dai.
Yeah, it is supposed to be one of the best preserved mummies in the world, and she is 2,000 years old. She was surprisingly pale. We saw a lot of mummies when we were in Mexico, and then of course, you've seen a lot of footage and photos of ones from Egypt, and she was white. And her face was very much intact. It was quite impressive. It was very interesting. But of course, they ask, out of respect, no photos or video in that section of the museum. But overall, I think it was very much worth it.
We just walked about 1.4 miles from the museum to Changsha's on Rice Noodle Street.
Yeah, it starts with the Hunan Rice Noodle Museum, so you can put that in your GPS, and then it continues down, and apparently there are a bunch of rice noodle shops. Changsha is known for its rice noodles just like Guilin was, so I'm interested to see if they're similar or if they're done in different styles, so we're gonna go try some because we're getting hungry. So we saw our favorite duck excrement lemon tea shop, and we just couldn't resist stopping by because today it is fairly warm and humid. If you come to China and you see this place, stop and get it. I know it sounds weird, but it is so delicious.
We just finished up our dinner at Jinshi Rice Noodles.
They were absolutely delicious. We got both the braised beef as well as the original beef. And she did ask us if we wanted round or flat powder, which we figured out was the noodle type. We went with the flat, and it's basically like a pho noodle, except bouncier, and it has more integrity. When you get down to the bottom of your bowl of pho and all the noodles are falling apart and you can hardly pick them up with your chopsticks. No. These were a lot bouncier, and I really, really loved the texture. It had some toppings, so you could make it spicier or add garlic and add green onion if you wanted to, but super, super delicious, and the price was incredibly reasonable. Highly recommend.
So we just come back to our hotel, which is the Meishi Lake Luxury Collection, and it just happens to be right across from the Meishi Park.
And that park does a fountain and light display show at 7:30 on Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. So today is a Tuesday, and we are going to head down and go check it out.
Well, we were mistaken. The show starts at 7 o'clock and ends at 7:30, but luckily we came down a little bit early, so we only missed about 5 minutes of it.
Yeah, we also walked from the front over the bridge into the back, which gives you a really cool view of the fountains against both the skyline as well as their really beautiful art museum building. However, the fountains actually spray this way. So we both got just a little bit wet from the fountain, so that's just something to keep in mind, is you want to kind of be careful towards the end of the show because they make the fountains a lot more powerful, and parts of the concrete that were once dry are now wet, including us. So this was our room for the past 5 nights here in Changsha. As you can see, we have a big entryway area to take off our shoes. Then here we have a little coffee set up, and you can see they do have a little mini bar, as well as a kettle and a coffee press. We didn't use any of that. Over here is the huge closet, which I love having, and a gigantic mirror. Then here we have a very comfortable king-size bed with 2 nightstands, a little bench at the end. So we had a nice big TV. David had an area here to edit videos. We had a little couch, and then we had a fantastic view of the lake and the park, and you can easily see the fountain show from our room. Really great view. And then through here is the bathroom. You can see I had a nice bathtub with a great view. We had double sinks as well as a lighted vanity. And then all the way down this end, we have the water closet and a big shower. You can see we had a wand there as well as a rain head shower. So we loved this room. It isn't in the best location, but Didi's are very cheap and easy to get. Another great feature of this hotel was their extensive breakfast buffet. It had tons of Chinese and Western options. We particularly enjoyed the omelet station as well as their very delicious fresh-baked pastries. And now for that cost breakdown. That gorgeous hotel set us back just $524 for 5 nights. We spent $39 on transportation, which is basically a ton of Didi's. We spent $32 on entertainment, just $137 at restaurants, and we spent $147 on personal care. David got a haircut, I did some shopping at Sephora, I also bought some new sneakers, and we did some laundry through the hotel. That grand total, $879, or just $176 per day. Not included in that total was the train that we took from Zhangjiajie, which was $86 for the both of us. Thanks for watching, and as always, if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, please leave them down below. If you haven't already, check out last week's video where we explored Tianmen Mountain.